Basically, they keep putting you in these thug roles to further perpetuate fear because you're dark and you're tall and you're not a comedian.
I'm Dottie Peoples and you're watching Branching Out.
Hi everyone, I'm Gloria Goban from Bass Wives LA, and you just caught me on Branching Out.
Hi, we're the Braxtons and you're watching Branching Out.
You are watching Branching Out.
Wow, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, hey, it's Blair Runner. We're watching Branching Out.
So that Bobby Jones and I'm branching out for real. And it's a beautiful thing.
Branch now.
And I'm just excited to be back to celebrate the 20th anniversary.
And then I did, once I left Boston, I did 10 years on the stage in New York, just grinding, did it because we loved it. I did, my first play, I made, $80 a week, did a play called Zoo Man and the Sign in New York. And just, all of us were there. Sam, Denzel, Angela Bassett, Ving Rhames, Charles Dutton, everybody was there. And we grinded, we learned the craft. So I tell all young people to really, really, really get the fundamentals of acting and get the craft, learn your craft. And that's all it is, I want to be able to take some of the things that I've learned along the way and give back to these young people. I really want to go to SAG and AFTRA and have an initial mentoring type program like they do, like when you go into the NBA and the NFL, they give workshops and mentoring programs. One of my buddies runs the one for the NBA and the NFL, and to give them the foundation so you can make better choices with your money, so you can make better choices with your personal life, so you can make better choices in your business life. So going into this, I started off, poor. In 1991, 92, 93, I didn't start really working in Hollywood until I was in my 40s. And I'm 60 now, 60.
Wow.
And, the things that I've learned along the way is what I want to try to share. Not just an acting class, but I want to teach an acting life skills class that helps people understand how to handle their lives in this business, so we can deal with the substance abuse, the money, and personal life, and divorce. And we've had some actors who've come out of divorce and have lost their way, almost lost my way. So those are the things that I incorporate in my teachings. I did a show where they wanted me, the producers, white guys who wanted me, and it was a fight. He said, I don't understand why I gotta fight for you. White cat, he said, I don't know why I gotta fight for you. Because this type of character is so edgy. As a dark, strong black man, it makes people nervous. It's acting. That's all it is. Bounce ain't caring about that. Bounce is saying, let's bring it. Because we know guys in the neighborhood, that are like this guy, and they're edgy, and we're not softening his edge or anything like that. So in that sense, for me, is groundbreaking, And I hope all my fans all over the world, this guy told me yesterday, he said, you're big in Africa. I hope they watch me in Africa. I hope they watch the show in Africa. Because I'm telling you right here, right now, this show right here to me is groundbreaking.
Anytime you get a chance to work with friends that you've known for a long time and you're doing a part that, is interesting to you and fun for you, it's fun. I say, why go to work if it's not fun? And why would you turn out a project if you read it and you like the character, and if people have, that they respect you as a performer and an actress and they like your work and they offer you a part. If you could make a list of more reasons to do something than more reasons not to do it, why would you turn it down? So anytime's the right time. Anytime that you're offered something, it's God's plan. You don't know why you get offered things in the periods of your life that you do, but I think a wise person kind of takes that lead and goes and sees where it leads you next. You know, as my good friend always says, it's already written. I just have to show up. You're only as good as the thing you're going to do next, because baby, people forget what you just did. So with that comes a commitment to keeping yourself together and intact. What I mean by that, when I speak to young people, I always tell them that you have to stay ready to be ready. Well, I have to do what I have to practice what I preach. So what that means to me is I have to keep myself intact. I always have to make sure that my teeth are right. I mean, simple things that you don't think about. My hair is okay, whether it's a weave, no weave, braids, no braids. I got braids up under this wig right now because I'm getting myself ready for the next transformation, whatever that is. And I'm protecting my real hair while I'm doing the show wearing all these wigs. So you gotta think about things like that, you know, your weight, you know, your skin. So I have to be ready because that's part of my journey, is to be able to jump right into a role. I don't get oftentimes months and months to prepare, you know. I was lucky with this role. I found out I was cast in mid-September. We didn't start till beginning of November, so I knew that I was coming to do this. But oftentimes, like when I did Hawthorne, I literally went in and met with everybody on a Thursday, and Friday morning I was at work. So, you know, a lot of time, and that's happened to me several times in my career where I just start work the next day. So you don't get the opportunity to, you know, to bask in leisure, you know. When we're on this journey, the whole thing is to work. Work begets work. You got to keep working. You got to keep working. You got to keep working at working. That's the hardest thing in longevity, is working at working. There's a lot of ways to be in tune with the universe. You know, you don't always have to be sitting up in church every Sunday shouting and hollering, and then on Monday, it's like you didn't even go to church. So I choose to live my life through a godly, loving manner, and that's what I try to do. And I mean, you know, like everybody else, I'm human. I get down. I have some bad days, and I have a rule. I give myself 2 days to, you know, have my pity party and feel wronged, and everybody else's fault for whatever's going on, and you know, I give myself 2 days. Then I'm like, all right, it's over, enough, done. Just do it. Just get up and just do it.
The show is not solely about the church, but it's about the entire community around it, the crime in the city, in our fictitious city of Cyprus, the politics in the city, and the police in the city also, like, all play a part in every episode. So when it came to developing the show, it was an internal process, and we really were able to identify the kind of show that we want to do internally and go out to several companies and writers that may have, you know, shows in this space. And so the combination of our internal ideas and Swirl's previous IP with Under Shepherd, we mashed together to make a new show that we developed from scratch together. Any show that deals with anything that really happens that people have opinions about, you got opinions on both sides. I have family and myself have gone to churches in the past, or a church in the past, where everything wasn't on the up and up, and the congregation went from very big to very small. I've been at churches that, you know, things were going very well, and everything was very, had a lot of integrity, and the church blossomed and grew from that. And that's the same thing as in family, as in life. You know, we're all human, we make mistakes, people do devious things.
Inside and outside.
Inside and outside the church. And so we're just giving a snapshot. It's a fictitious snapshot, but it's definitely based on real situations. Well, in any show that you're developing and doing from the beginning, casting is always, you know, a challenge. Not just because of schedules, because of timing, because of competition. You know, you want the same people a lot of other people want too. And we were very fortunate to get the cast that we have. I think a lot of the challenges that we had initially about in that casting area, the material helped us. You know, when we sent the script out, people that said they weren't available all of a sudden became available.
A lot of actors who are black, who get, you know, some of the opportunities that I've been blessed to get, they leave and stop doing films with black people. It's almost like once you get hot, it ain't cool to do black films, but black films were how you got to where you were. And it's funny, with me, it was just the opposite. You know, my first film was Black Snake Moan. So, like, you know, I'll give you an example. One of the things that, you know, I tried to do with Swirl in general was like, I was just coming off, the first film that I did after The Butler was a Swirl film. And I did that on purpose because of the opportunities that he's able to give up and coming black art, writers, actors, you know, the whole gambit. So for me, like, it's important. And like, people even trip on how serious I am when I'm on set. And that's because it's like, it's funny to me. And this is us in general. It's like, you know, people used to trip that I used to wear like, you know, $4,000, $5,000 suits or $2,000, $3,000 suits to the BET Awards. Yeah. And everybody used to say, why you doing that? I was like, because I want to respect our television and our people. To me, it's more important. There were several opportunities, and I'm gonna just lay it out. If I would have, I could have rolled the thug roll to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a film. But this really happened to me. I was lecturing, I think it was at Boston University, and an Asian young man walked up to me and he said, Mr. Banner, how does it feel that the movie industry uses your dark skin and your 6'2" frame to further perpetuate fear of black men? And I asked him, I was like, what do you mean by that? Basically, they keep putting you in these thug roles to further perpetuate fear because you're dark and you're tall and you're not a comedian. And I was like, I never thought about that before. So I sort of stepped away from the thug films. And if you notice it, the less that I play those films, the less roles that I get. But the ones that I get are quality.
Right.
And I really, really, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, people are sitting in here. I love the character. I had to dig. I had to go back, you know, and remember some of the things that I didn't like about some of the Baptist preachers and some of the preachers back when I was growing up. And then I got some of the things that I did like. And then some stuff I made up.
Detective Noah St. Charles is an old schooler. He loves trying to do what's right, and he didn't solve a crime that involved the family who's at the center of this story, and it's haunted him for 30 years. He felt like he failed them, and this thing has burned in him all these years. And now the same family has another tragedy he's called upon again. So he's kind of rattled in a way, but then he realized this is his chance for redemption. And I like that, you know, we all make mistakes or we come up short. But the mercy and grace of life gives you an opportunity to redeem yourself. I love doing films and all of that's good, you know. Since 1971, my first motion picture was Samuel L. Jackson. But at this point in my life, I look at my granddaughters, my grandkids, and I want to leave them a legacy that this guy, Granddaddy, cared. They call me Baba Wo. Baba Wo, he cared for people. They're not going to care about the films and all of that stuff. But they will care if I care for people. And when I see that in their eyes and they look at me like that, I can't let them down. I cannot fail them. I can't go by what other people try to, you know, force on me as far as, are you meeting the numbers? Are you doing this? I and my wife, we have to engage in the transformative process where we see, I don't care if it's 1 or 2 families, if it's 5 or 10 years out of, that is what it's all about. That's the measuring stick. If that family survived and now they're strong and now they're reaching back, that's the only measuring stick I can go by, Stan. I cannot be a prisoner of numbers. See, if you do that, you're gonna fail, because then somebody else is leading and guiding you and you become reactionary. My wife and I are active, hands-on, in the trenches, and to see families come up out of that, that's why we can get up in the morning, because I know some family is waiting on us. They're waiting for some appointment where we're gonna intersect. I just have to be on my course. And that's the only thing I can gauge success by.
Clifton Powell. You're watching Branching Out TV.
I'm Ri-Karlo Handy from Bounce TV, and you're watching Branching Out TV.
Afemo, Omilami on the set of Saints and Sinners, and I'm branching out. What's happening? This is David Banner. Tune in for God Box, and we are branching out and growing.